Hi, welcome back to another episode of Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. In this week's video, we're back in the shop here. We still have the 5-window coupe to work on, some sheet metal work. We have the Camera Lady's 272 Y block. There's a few things we have to add to it. There's a couple modifications to some parts that I potentially will go through and cover there. And then over here on the Camera Lady's frame, I really want to get it epoxy primed this week. If I can get the rest of it cleaned up and if the weather holds out for us, I will epoxy prime it, potentially seal it, fingers crossed paint it, but the paint might come next week. We'll see how everything lays as far as time and curing and stuff. The other thing, we originally covered the headlight bar before, and what we did, we used these little stanchions here. What I want to do before I paint the frame is actually split the ends off of this and have these welded down into the frame so that while I still have the frame here and before I paint it, I can do the fitting on that. Because I know right now my headlights fit right here in this spot. If I can set this up and cut my pieces and get them onto the frame here, I'll do that before I do the paint. So anyway, still lots to do. And maybe even some parts will come in for the 34 or 33, 34 coupe. I think it's actually a 33 coupe that's coming that we're going to build there. But nevertheless, there's a 33 or 34 Ford coupe that we're going to be building out of the frame in the center here. Some of the suspension parts are supposed to arrive this week too. So anyways, we're working on some of it or all of it. Follow along. One of the things I mentioned I was going to do either in last episode or the introduction of this one was that I wanted to make a new headlight bar for the Camera Lady's Roadster. Now, what we originally did when we mocked everything together was we bought these stainless steel pedestal mounts from Speedway. The headlights are in the right position as far as forward as what we wanted, but one of the things I ultimately wanted to do was to have that original look of the way they used to cut the ends off the headlight bars, and then you would have the bar going across here and put the little V8 sign onto it. So one thing happened as a result of that video, someone reached out to me and said, hey, I've got a 32 headlight bar for sale. So we picked it up. So what we're going to do today is, or I'm in the middle of doing, because I started doing it already, was I cut the original 32 headlight bar. I cut the ends off it like this on both ends, and I used the mini grinder and I ground the excess off here on both ends. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, I'm going to mount them on the frame over there. More than likely they're going to be sitting a little further back because they shape a little more forward like this than what those mounts over there did. So the holes have to go further back on the frame. So going to mount those up, drill the holes. We'll get those on the frame, and then probably what I'll do then is I'll grind the tips of these so that we can weld it to this frame. So follow along. So carrying on with the headlight bar little project that we're doing right here, right now. Like I said, I had to mount these brackets a little further back. So this hole here was common with this. So as you can see, it came to the side. These brackets, arc forward. The other thing I had to do, I actually had to weld the holes up. And if you can see, I had to put these on an angle like this. So I wasn't able to do them in line. The reason being is that when you go to weld this top on here, I'll try and do it with one hand. I don't have any helpers right now. I had to move it out so the bases there would correspond with the welded area on the headlight bar. Otherwise, what was happening before was that the stainless was kind of coming in contact with that bar. Now, a couple things, I probably could have heated these bars up and bent them, but I didn't really need to do that just by canting them a little bit. It basically puts the welded area onto the steel area of the headlight bar. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to dress the tops of those bars right there. right here. I'll dress those up a bit. I'll put a chamfer on them, and then I'll get ready to, and I'll clean up the bottom of the headlight bar, and I'll get ready to weld those on. Here's the next step. I have the headlight bar tack welded in place. I've just got it tack welded there on one side, and then I tack welded on the other, because when you go to weld it, it'll pull one way or the other. I tried to make sure that these cups were relatively level, but the thing is, the frame isn't exactly at the angle that it's going to be on the car. Typically the cups will tilt forward a little bit anyways, so I think I got plenty of room to put them in with a little bit of rake on the car. The other thing I did, I went and got the camera lady's grill shell, and I'm kind of just double checking that we've got clearance. So when I tilt the grill shell up approximately where it's going to be, it's close enough to the grill shell, which is what we want to do. We don't want the headlight bar too far forward, but we want to be able to put that little V8 signal symbol right there where that screw is. And then on the inside right here, you can see it, it should be right about there, I think. So we still have lots of room. An absolute worst case scenario, if I have to drill those holes out at the bottom to move it forward a little bit later, I think we're still good. But punchline is, I have those cups in the same position as what the stainless steel arms were. So I know it's going to be good for the setup, because we had put the whole car together, dummied it together. And that was good clearance. And right now, these cups actually sit a little further away from the grill shell. So again, lots of room for clearance for the headlight. So what we'll do now, I'm going to finish welding all the way around here on both sides. And then we'll dress the welds up, make it a little bit pretty. Not sure if I'm going to paint them here today or not, but the ultimate goal was to actually split the headlight bar and get that kind of off the plate. And then I'll pack away those stainless steel arms. I think I have a friend that might want those, but what we wanted for the Roadster was we wanted to have this look. Now, Iron Trap, Matt there, he did the same thing probably about 10 months ago. We planned on doing it. I mean, this is quite common to do for 32 Fords. A lot of guys in the early days did exactly what I'm doing right here, so it's nothing new. But Matt did a really detailed one, showed him cutting, grinding, and everything else. I'm kind of just showing you the step-by-step kind of thing, and not actually showing you welding and grinding, just to kind of see where the project's going. So there's the finished headlight bar. Still have to tape it off and put a coat of paint onto it. I stripped all the metal off, stripped all of the paint off the metal, off the ends, and I ground all the welds smooth. I mean, underneath it was a little bit pitted, much the same as I think most of the originals are. We smoothed some of that out, but I don't really want to make this look too perfect. I want it to look good, but I also want it to look original. So anyways, I'll take this off here. I'll tape up the stainless steel and put a couple coats of black trim clad paint onto it, and should be good to go later on when we finish the camera lady's car. So there's the passenger side quarter panel all welded in. Dollied probably 99%. I mean, I'll probably go over it with a sopping hammer or something and try and get any kind of little bumps out. I mean, it won't be perfect, but it'll be good enough for 16th inch skim of body fill. You know, go through it. I check for all pinholes with a light from behind and tack those all up. But all nice and good right now. Over on the headlight bar thing, I painted that last night, so happy with that as well. It's all done. It's one of those projects that I had hanging around, laying around over on the bench, and I kind of have to get rid of stuff. We've got boxes piling up for the camera lady's engine. We're going to deal with some of that stuff, and ultimately, like I said, the goal here is to epoxy primer and paint her frame over the next days or week or 2 weeks or so. I mean, I've got a lot more sanded off and polished off, ready to go. Weather's not in my favor at the moment, but it's looking good for the next week. So that's done. The quarter panel is done. And then one of the things, like I said, I wanted to get some of the parts off of the 2-barrel engine here, get some of the other parts that are laying around, get the engines, this engine, spare engine stored away. So I painted up some of these parts a while ago. This is the new valley pan that we want to put in. And one of the issues with this is that we wanted to put a PCV valve into it. Now, originally they had a breather tube here and a road draft tube there. So what we want to do is put the PCV valve in here. I ordered a couple grommets thinking that I could grind away this little threaded hole, put the grommet in, simply put the PCV valve in place. That's not looking like it's going to solve my problem because the grommets aren't the right size. So the plan to mess around with this valley pan to put it over there on the earlier engine, which didn't have a road draft tube on the back. It had one down right there on the early engines. So I'm going to take the intake manifold off, the valley pan out, and I'm going to modify this valley pan, which is off a 64 F100. What I'm going to do is I am going to take this off of, it's off of a 302, a little 5.5 liter engine. Going to cut this boss off. And I'm going to weld it on here because this grommet and this PCV valve will fit in there. So the goal is to put this section here on that, do a paint touch-up, and then I have my PCV valve for the 272. So this is something like I've just been putting it off, had everything painted. Time to get at it. So there's the metal piece that I extracted from the small block Ford valve cover. Trimmed it, bent it, and basically made it so it's going to fit here. The plan right now is just going to weld along here, dress it up, make it look kind of neat and tidy, and that should do the trick. Now, the little boss there, I drilled it out, so I'm going to have to drill a hole or weld the bottom up so that it doesn't leak. There's a baffle underneath here. Once I get this all welded up, and I'll flip it over and I'll show you the baffle. So this should actually work quite well. PCV valves work best with baffles, especially on Ford engines. That's what I've experienced in the past, especially on my stroker motor. Ford put a lot of thought into baffles, or engineered them, so we're going to stick with the baffle underneath, and then this little boss here should do the trick for the PCV valve. So anyways, we're halfway there. So there's the flange welded in on the back of the valley pan. My TIG welding skills are slightly improving, but it's all TIGged in place. I did have to use a MIG welder along the bottom here because I'm not very good at filling, but got her all TIGged in place right now. What I'm going to do with this, I'm going to put a couple coats of the red engine paint on this, clean it up, and then what I'm going to do is start taking the intake manifold and the other valley pan off of the 272 and then get it ready to put this on it. Well, we've got a few things wrapped up on the camera lady's Y-block engine. The valley pan cover, we've got the spot all welded in and painted up, and now we've got an EGR valve, not EGR, PCV valve in the back. We've got a vent in the front. There's a big baffle in the center. When I took it all apart, this engine was like immaculately clean inside. So although we bought it as a rebuilt motor from a friend, it's pretty clean inside. I mean, looks as though whoever rebuilt this did a pretty good job as far as cleanliness goes. Anyways, well, time will tell when we start it up. The other thing I had to do was take off the front sump oil pan. So when we built we put the 32 Roadster together, we mocked it up. We weren't able to use a front sump. So we were using a rear sump oil pan like you see on a pickup truck, or I think also on the Thunderbirds, they also had the same thing. But anyways, the mock-up motor right there was a truck motor. So we took off the truck oil pan and pickup, got it cleaned up and painted. I think I covered that in a previous episode, and we've now got that put on and all bolted in place. The other thing, there was a really large fuel pump. I'm not sure if you can see it. I can't quite see it. Yep, right there. There was a really large fuel pump that had a fuel filter on the bottom, and it also had a vacuum pump on the top. I mean, it was kind of neat in some ways, but really not necessary for the hot rod. So this engine was off of a 56 Ford. So at those times, I guess you had vacuum activated wipers, and it was run off the fuel pump. Anyways, we took the fuel pump off and replaced it with a fuel pump from a 390 FE, which is supposed to be the same thing. We've got that on. Next up, what I want to do is get the Thunderbird intake manifold onto it. This is a ECZ Ford cast iron 4-barrel intake manifold that fits the larger Holley spread, the Holley carburetors. So we've got that painted up. I can't put that on just yet because there's little clamps right here we've got to clean up before I put it on. So there's little pieces right here that fit right there and hold it in place. So I want to clean those up and paint them before I put the intake manifold on. So we're going to carry on with working on the miscellaneous stuff that's going to go on the Y block here. Hopefully we'll get around to putting a new distributor into it as well. I've got a front water pump pulley. We didn't have one before, but I bought one off of eBay. We'll take the crank pulley off, clean that up, and paint that too. So anyways, all kinds of little things we're doing this week. Hopefully later this week, I'll get a chance to actually epoxy prime the frame. If not, it'll be early in the next episode. So anyways, follow along. We're making progress on this, that, and the other thing. Hi, we're off to another car show again. I don't want to make it 3 weeks in a row that we do the car show thing, but we're really trying this year to get out, number one. Number two, the weather is good. And number three, the venues that we're going to are on grasses and they're kind of nice to go to. So we're just going to pull into the driveway, go the opposite direction. We'll show you a little more of the drive along the way, and then we'll show you maybe a minute or two or three or something at the car show. It's the only one in the province today, so I kind of suspect that she's going to be pretty packed up. Should be a good selection of cars, so follow along.
camera lady there. Sorry about that. Show starts at 10. It's 9 a.m. and she's filled in just a little bit here. Anyways, I guess we should have left earlier. Thank you.
Happy Canada Day!
Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day,
Yeah,
everybody.
Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day.
Thank you.
Say Happy Canada Day.
Oh, Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. What do you say? Canada Day.
Derek, wish everybody Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day.
I sure do. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day.
continued picking away at putting some stuff onto the 272 Y block. I have the distributor in right now. It's a Pertronics electronic distributor, Billet 1 Flamethrower 2, I think is what it is. And right now I've got the intake manifold just sitting there with the carburetor on it. Make sure we have some clearances onto it. I've heard that sometimes there's clearance issues with the Pertronics distributor and some of the early Y block heads, but I actually don't have that problem here. The valley pan is in with the EGR valve. I've put just dummied the headers on here because the intention was actually to make my spark plug wires, cut them up with the length. But unfortunately, one thing I discovered is that that wire set is for the male type distributor cap. So we've ordered a new distributor cap for this, which is on its way. Another thing I wanted to do was put the temperature sending unit in the head that we're going to be using, but I need to find an adapter. Another issue we came up with is the thermostat housing. I need to get a new thermostat. Had to order that too. Both of these are old enough that I don't want to mess with them. So anyways, I'm pushing along on some of the things. We don't really need the Y block built right now, but I had so many boxes of so many things laying around over there. I knew it had to go on the engine, so I was just picking away, putting some of them on here. But in this episode, we're kind of coming to the end because we took a couple days and went to another car show. That should be it for a while now. Some of the other car shows are probably later on in the summer. Like I said before, we don't go to all of them. There was a few of them early in the season. Really like to go to. The venues are good and it's not too hot. So that's 3 weeks in a row that we did kind of like a little trip to the car show and a drive. Probably not going to show you anymore till later on in the summer or once we hit into September. Got the quarter panel done on the back of Ellie's Coupe, and I got some more cleanup work done on the frame. I am going to primer the frame, but I had to order some activators. So this week, unfortunately, with a whole bunch of different things, it was taking inventory of a lot of this stuff and getting ready for next week, I guess. So anyway, that's it for this week of Coldstream Rod Shop. Come on back next week, and my plan is if the activator comes in tomorrow, then we're going to move on and start painting the camera lady's frame. Anyway, have a great week, everybody, and actually happy July 4th tomorrow to all you folks in the US too. Everybody take care. And happy Canada Day from a couple days ago too. Catch you later, everybody. And of course, please like, share, tag, and subscribe. Send me your comments, and everybody have a great week. Take care.